this presentation, Group 2 chose to research Apple, ticker AAPL. In this presentation, we discuss company history, products, competitors, cloud computing, and more. The presenters are Brian, Kenzen, Ryan, and Jeanette.
Apple Incorporated is an American multinational technology company headquartered in Cupertino, California, that designs, develops, and sells electronics, computer software, and online services. It is considered one of the big four technology companies along with Amazon, Google, and Facebook. Apple was founded April 1st in 1976, also in Cupertino, California. The former founders are Steve Wozniak, Steve Jobs, Ronald Wayne, and Steven Wilson. Apple's mission statement is bringing the best user experience to its customers through its innovative hardware, software, and services. Apple Incorporated designs, manufactures, and markets smartphones, personal computers, tablets, wearables, and accessories, and sells a variety of related services. The company's products are as follows: iPhone, Mac, iPad, wearable technology, and home accessories. iPhone is the smartphone based on its iOS operating system, which has been Apple's most successful product. Additionally, the company offers various services such as Apple Arcade, Apple Music, Apple News, and Apple TV, which offers exclusive and original content. Apple launched Apple Card in August of 2019, a co-branded credit card, and Apple Pay, a cashless payment service, as well as licenses to its intellectual property. Customer base is diverse, including businesses, government markets, and the average consumer. In June 2013, Apple CEO Tim Cook appointed Lisa P. Jackson as Vice President of Environmental Initiatives. Apple has expressed significant interest and commitment to address climate change, develop green materials for safer products, and use materials more efficiently. As of 2020, Apple Incorporated has claimed they are now net carbon neutral and have the goal of all their products also being net carbon neutral by 2030. Apple uses 100% renewable energy to power its data centers. Apple also created the subsidiary Apple Energy LLC in 2016 to help research and develop climate change and renewable energy resources. Key members of management. Tim Cook. Before being named CEO in August of 2011, Tim was Apple's Chief Operating Officer and was responsible for all of the company's worldwide sales and operations, including end-to-end management of Apple's supply chain, sales activities, service and support in all countries and markets. He also headed Apple's Macintosh division and played a key role and then continued development of strategic reseller and supplier relationships, ensuring flexibility in a response to an increasingly demanding marketplace. Prior to joining Apple, Tim was the Vice President of Corporate Materials for Compaq and was responsible for procuring and managing all of Compaq's product inventory. Jeff Williams is Apple's Chief Operating Officer, reporting to CEO Tim Cook. He oversees Apple's entire worldwide operations, as well as customer service and support. He leads Apple's renowned design team and the software and hardware engineering for Apple Watch. Jeff also drives the company's health initiatives, pioneering new technologies and advancing medical research to empower people to better understand and manage their own health and fitness. Jeff played a key role in Apple's entry into the mobile phone marketplace with the launch of iPhone, and since 2010 has led worldwide operations for all products. He also led the engineering development of Apple Watch. Jeff joined Apple in 1998 as the head of worldwide procurement. Prior to Apple, Jeff worked for the IBM Corporation from 1985 to 1998 in several operation and engineering roles. He holds a bachelor degree in mechanical engineering from NC State and an MBA from Duke University. Luca Mazzurti is Apple's Senior Vice President and Chief Financial Officer, reporting to CEO Tim Cook. As CFO, Luca oversees the accounting, business support, financial planning and analysis, treasury, real estate, investor relations, internal audit, and tax functions at Apple. Luca joined Apple in 2013 as Vice President of Finance and Corporate Controller, and has worked closely with Apple's senior leadership since his arrival. Luca has over 25 years of experience building and leading finance teams in global companies with significant operating scale and complexity. Prior to joining Apple, Luca was CFO at Xerox and previously at Nokia Siemens Networks. Apple has employed vertical integration business strategies, and it has enhanced their business model dramatically over the last.
Apple products. Apple is a prominent hardware and software company best
Apple has employed vertical integration business strategies, and it has enhanced their business model dramatically over the last 25 years. Since Apple first brought the iPod to market, they have enhanced their value chain strategy. The iPod's personal device technology was utilized to create and bring to market the first iPhone. Since then, Apple has implemented its proprietary iOS software into smartwatches, tablets, earbuds, and other various key pieces of technology that consumers use on a daily basis. Apple has been also known to leverage this to gain entry into several markets, including streaming, artificial intelligence, and research and development fields. Apple has created its own supply chain and therefore has been able to create their market based on their own products. Given they do not share products or technology with other competitors, it has made Apple a distinct brand to market to consumers. Apple commands a dominant market share with their aggressive pricing strategy. Apple products are priced high in an effort to sway consumer sentiment in their favor. This causes Apple products to seem like they are higher quality, cutting-edge technology, and the it product within its space. This creates a sustained competitive advantage for Apple, and as they continue to diversify, the same sentiment is carried over. Apple has been able to avoid numerous competitor threats and has not changed their pricing strategy for this reason. Apple is one of the most profitable corporations globally, and they continue to have the capital resources to expand into different areas. Flexibility is the ability of a company to change direction quickly at a low cost, given unanticipated changes in the competitive market they reside. Apple is the epitome of flexible. They have leveraged their position as a tech giant to take on Apple TV, wearable technology, headphones, and have even explored Apple cars for clean transportation via Apple Energy LLC.
Apple products. Apple is a prominent hardware and software company best known for a series of personal computers. What started as a computer company is now famous for its phones, music, TV, and more recently, its watch technology. Let's get into some products by Apple. Mac. Apple Macs come in a variety of models. Most famous Apple iPad. Mac. Apple Macs come in a variety of models. Most famous today is the all-in-one iMac, in which the computer is built into a screen. They are also the more expensive and powerful Mac Pro machines, which are like PCs and they consist of only the main tower case. There is the small monitorless Mac Mini, and finally there is the MacBook laptop, which has their three varieties on sale today: MacBook, MacBook Pro, and MacBook Air. They're famously visually attractive and are known for the excellent quality of their build. The Mac OS is also largely regarded is a much easier to use and prettier than its Windows counterpart, and is certainly safer from viruses. Mac also offers Mac Mini and Mac Studios to connect with these monitors as well. Apple iPad. The Apple iPad falls into the same. The iPhone. Apple iPad. The Apple iPad falls into the same slate as some people would say is a tablet category of portable personal computers, because unlike a laptop, it doesn't have a hardware keyboard. To type and to navigate through files and photos on the iPad, you touch the screen the same way you would operate an iPhone. The fully touchscreen device is designed for consuming various types of media, like reading books, browsing the web, and watching videos in particular. It's also marketed as a portable gaming device, and there are hundreds of games for sale in the iPad App Store. The models listed on Apple.com now are iPad Pro, iPad Air, iPad 10th generation, iPad 9th generation, and iPad mini. The iPhone. The iPhone is a smartphone made by Apple that combines. The iPhone. The iPhone is a smartphone made by Apple that combines a computer, iPod, digital camera, and a cellular phone into one device with a touchscreen interface. The original iPhone was announced on January 9, 2007 at the Mac World Convention by Apple co-founder Steve Jobs. Although it was not considered the first smartphone, the iPhone has helped drive the global shift to mobile computing among both consumers and businesses. The iPhone runs the iOS operating system. The current models that Apple offer for the iPhone are iPhone 14 Pro, iPhone 14, iPhone 13, iPhone SE, and iPhone 12. These models do come in a variety of sizes. Also, there are older models as well, but they are not currently listed on Apple's current website. The Apple Watch. Apple Watch is a wearable smartwatch that allows users. The Apple Watch. Apple Watch is a wearable smartwatch that allows users to accomplish a variety of tasks, including making phone calls, sending text messages, and reading. Apple Watch can do what your other devices can't, but it's only on your wrist. When you wear it, you get a fitness partner that measures all the ways you move, meaningful health insights, and a connection to people and things you care about most. The Apple Watch is offered in a couple different models. The Apple Watch Series 3 through 8, Apple Watch SE, and Apple Watch Ultra. AirPods. AirPods are wireless Bluetooth earbuds designed by Apple. AirPods. AirPods are wireless Bluetooth earbuds designed by Apple Inc. Within 2 years, they became Apple's most popular accessory. In addition to playing audio, the AirPods contain a microphone that filters out background noise, as well as a built-in accelerometers and optical sensors capable of detecting tap and pitches and placement within the ear, which enables automatic pausing of audio when they are taken out. Apple offers a couple of models of AirPods: AirPods second generation, AirPods third generation, AirPods Pro second generation, as well as the new AirPods Max. Apple TV and Home simply connects your favorite devices and. Apple TV and Home simply connects your favorite devices and transfers your house into a remarkable, smart, convenient, and entertainment home. It controls lights, locks, thermostats with your iPhone, or just your voice. Play any song in your room from anywhere and evaluate movie night in theater like picture and sound, all in the security and privacy of Apple. Apple TV and Apple Home offers Apple TV Plus, which you can stream award-winning Apple originals on every screen, Apple Music, access to all your favorite songs and sing along with your lyrics view, Apple Fitness Plus, Apple Arcade, which offers over 200 incredible fun games with no ads. Current events and projects. Maybe we'll get discounts for the holidays from Apple. Current events and projects. Maybe we'll get discounts for the holidays from Apple. Apple's pricing strategy has always felt stable. The products are more expensive than similar devices in the same category, but many feel that the premium is worth paying. While other manufacturers may discount their products, Apple's pricing was consistent, which makes Apple's decision to offer discounts on the MacBook Pro a very unusual one. They might not be promoting it heavily on the front pages of the Apple Store, but there are options depending on what you are looking for. Maybe you can find you a discounted MacBook Pro this winter. Also, the first iPhone 15 leaks are already out. The first iPhone 15 leaks already promised a combination of eye-catching and controversial design changes, and the excitement is only likely to grow further now a new exclusives have revealed another stunning design decision. Also, iPhone is planning to go back to regular chargers. The latest iPhone 15 leaks revealed that Apple will again increase prices and feature differences between the models. And now we know that even their connectivity won't be the same. These specs upgrades mean that the wire transfer and the video output user experience will significantly improve. Apple say. For context, USB 2.0 Maxes are at 480 megabytes per second, while USB 3.2 can operate at up to 20 gigabytes per second. That's a speed increase of more than 40 times. On one hand, this makes sense. Pro model iPhones exclusively shoot in ProRAW, which results in file sizes of 10 times larger than a standard image. ProRAW tends to be used primarily by professional and aspiring photographers. As a faster USB-C port for the export these shots could be justified as a pro requirement, on the other hand, it doesn't make sense that it's because all modern iPhones shoot 4K video, which uses vastly more storage than ProRAW, and would benefit most of the USB 3.2 speeds. Well, taking a step back is a genuine shock to see how Apple is prepared to go to drive a gap between its Pro and non-Pro iPhones. But I guess we'll just have to see in the future.
From looking at the graph at the top right of the slide, you can see how Apple and Samsung are the two powers in the smartphone industry. Look at each quarter dating back to 2020. These two companies go back and forth, having the top percentage of market share in the industry. Both companies change constantly, always looking for ways to make their phones more and more advanced. From the picture located below the graph, you can see how the big difference between the two is price. The brand new Apple iPhone 14 is listed for either $999 or $799, and a newer Samsung device is listed at almost $500 less than the iPhone. However, even with this price difference, Apple still remains a top dog in the smartphone industry, and people continue to buy their products because they are aware of what they are buying. The smartwatch industry is much different than the smartphone industry. Apple is by far at the top of this industry. The graph shows data from 2021 and 2022, showing how in 2021, Apple controlled over 33% of the smartwatch market, which is also a 3% increase from the year before. The great thing about Apple is that people with an Apple Watch 99.9% of the time also have an iPhone because the two go hand in hand. Apple continues to advance their watches with new functions. The newest Apple Watch can tell you your blood pressure or even how deep you are underwater if you are scuba diving. It is this type of innovation that keeps customers coming back for this product. You can see the price difference in how Apple is still at the top. The computer industry is one where Apple is not a top competitor. As you can see from the graph, Apple is the 5th highest company when it comes to the market share of computers. Lenovo, HP, and Dell are way at the top, then Acer, and then finally Apple. I've been using a MacBook since I began my undergraduate degree, and I love it. However, certain computers are better for certain things. I remember when I got my acceptance letter for undergrad, and it was saying which computer was best for which major. In my new job, I was given an HP computer because that's what the whole university uses. Keeping everyone on one network and one system seems to make everything much, much easier. As you can see from the left, Apple MacBook can significantly vary in price. They have some for $1,000 and then go all the way up to $2,500. Brand strength is extremely important when it comes to competitive advantage. Apple has been able to do that by advertising and continuing to put out products that people purchase. If you would show anyone in the world the Apple logo and have them tell you what that logo is, 99.9% of the time, people in the world will get it correct and say that it is the Apple logo. And Apple is there up top with Amazon and Coca-Cola. Innovation is something that I've discussed often over the past few slides. Apple is one of the best companies in the world when it comes to the innovation of their products. Apple is currently on the iPhone 14 since the first one came out back in 2007. They continue to get better and better. The iPhones have gotten bigger, better memory, faster speeds, and a whole lot more. The same thing for the Apple Watch and MacBooks. Apple will continue to innovate and make their products better and more advanced to keep their top spot in the industry or take over the top spot. The final two stages of competitive advantage are supply chain and pricing. Apple as a company has their own developers who develop the products that Apple makes and new software that is used. They also manufacture their own products, so everything is made in-house, and they also market and sell all of their own items by Apple employees. Pricing is the other way that Apple has competitive advantage against their competitors because they are one of the top players in the technology industry, so they lead the race on what certain prices of certain products will be.
Outside of the physical products that Apple has been well known for throughout the years, let's shift our focus to the service products that are more frequently disrupting the market. My name is Jeanette Nguyen, and I would love to walk you through this journey of one of Apple's services or IT products that has changed the game for Apple to be more than just an iPhone or a MacBook. Let's look up to the clouds. But first and foremost, what is the cloud? Before we can jump into Apple's involvement in the cloud, let's talk about cloud computing and how dynamic this robust technology is. When we are talking about the cloud, we are referring to cloud computing. But what is cloud computing? Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of IT resources over the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. So think of cloud computing as instead of buying, owning, maintaining a physical data center or servers, which requires labor, materials, and money to build and support, you can access technology services instead. The technology services that cloud computing offers are computing power, storage, and databases, and pay for an on-as-needed basis from a cloud provider like Amazon Web Services, or AWS for short. Most companies will pay for what they use instead of overpaying for what they do not need. So imagine that most of the time spent doing all the required management or IT activities and all the money invested in maintaining physical data locations and the computing processes will be minimized and operated cost efficiently and time efficiently. There are four main types of cloud computing. The private cloud is where the infrastructure is exclusively operated by a single organization and may be managed by the same organization or a third party. An example is Microsoft Office products. Public clouds are open to the public and maintained by a cloud computing provider. So an example is a cloud computing provider is Amazon Web Services, as we spoke of earlier. The hybrid cloud have the same functionalities as both a public and private cloud, and are a combination of both private and public clouds. So an example would be Google Cloud and Microsoft OneDrive. Lastly, there are also multi-clouds. Outside of that, there are also 3 service models of cloud computing services. So we have infrastructure as a service, or IaaS, platforms as a service, PaaS, and software as a service, or SaaS. Infrastructure as a service is a cloud service model where users access basic computing infrastructure such as storage and virtual machine resources, and it's commonly used by IT administrators to manage data runtime, middleware, applications, and operating systems. PaaS provides cloud platforms and runtime environments for developing, testing, and managing applications. So this service model enables users to deploy applications without acquiring, managing, and maintaining the architecture. PaaS allows for software applications creations. PaaS also requires users to handle application and data. So PaaS is mainly used by developers like AWS, Google App Engine, and Heroku. Last but not least, we have SaaS. So SaaS involves cloud services for hosting and managing software applications. Some SaaS products and services include Microsoft Office 365, we have Gmail and Google Drive, but each type of cloud computing provides different levels of control, flexibility, and management so that users can select the right set of services for their needs. Now that you know what cloud computing is, along with the types of services, what are some advantages and disadvantages of cloud computing? Alright, so computing services pros and cons. So concerning scalability, cloud computing takes up less in-person space, maintenance, cost, and storage space. Cloud computing allows users to pay for how much they use and has faster provisions for scaling up or down. Cloud service providers manage the cloud spaces, limiting tangible server storage. Another benefit of cloud computing is data security. Cloud computing data security minimizes the data security protocols, in-person interactions with data security, and more computer security in place to maintain and manage. Robust data recovery process to recover lost data quickly and efficiently. Maintenance is supported by cloud service providers, limiting costs to hardware and software. So we have touched on some popular cloud computing services in the market. AWS, Microsoft, Azure, Google Cloud Platforms, OneDrive, and so on. Everything is not always cherry though. Let's now discuss the disadvantage of cloud computing. So cloud computing is a virtual process on a virtual platform, first of all, which may violate some laws and regulations concerning privacy rights and data storage. So recently, Russian authorities have fined Apple $33,900 United States dollars for allegedly breaking the law that requires local users' iCloud data to be stored on servers within the country. So this can pose a barrier for Apple since it is a global company, but they are aware of the challenges with various regulations. They must be in compliance to continue servicing in specific regional areas though. Alright, let's now shift our focus back to our company of interest, Apple. So how does Apple participate in cloud computing? Apple has been investing in combining all 3 service models within iCloud. So they're using IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS within iCloud. So iCloud is a cloud service from Apple Incorporated, launched on October 12, 2011 as a successor to MobileMe. MobileMe encompasses contacts, calendars, and mail. iCloud is a cloud-based storage that securely holds your most important information, such as your photos, files, and backups. They're holding it securely, up to date, and available across all of your devices. So we're talking about iPhones, iPads, MacBooks, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and so on, Internet of Things, all of these devices are connected wirelessly and simultaneously. So when anything changes on one of the user's devices, all of their devices are wirelessly updated almost instantly without the users having to be involved in the process. Moving forward, you can expect Apple to focus on streamlining and expanding its software and cloud-based services such as iCloud, Apple Music, News Plus, and etc. But did you know that iCloud operates on nearly 1.5 billion devices worldwide? However, Apple relies on its cloud division and AWS to ensure active devices can function efficiently across the cloud platforms. Recently, CNBC confirmed that Apple pays $30 million US dollars monthly to Amazon's cloud division, and is also one of the biggest customers of AWS.
Now we will begin the SWOT analysis. The strengths for Apple is a strong brand value. For the 9th consecutive year, Apple Now we will begin the SWOT analysis. The strengths for Apple is a strong brand value. For the 9th consecutive year, Apple has ranked #1 brand in the world, with a brand value of $355.1 billion. Apple's next closest competitor in this category would be Amazon with $254.2 billion. Due to Apple being first to market with several products, they have also gained brand awareness through pop culture. This marketing mechanism has enabled some of the biggest celebrities and names to promote their products by simply using them. Apple is also a global entity that is recognized with the same quality worldwide. Research and development. As mentioned, Apple has been the first to market with nearly all products they have created. They are consistently viewed as cutting-edge technology in the personal computer, phone, and electronic space. iOS, iPod, iPhone, the MacBook, the iWatch, and iPads were all first of their kind, which has sent a ripple effect throughout the industry. Apple Music, formerly iTunes, changed the way that we not only receive music, but the way we can share different types of data. While other companies are trying to determine how to match Apple, Apple seems to be releasing newer technology. Chip manufacturing is included. Apple has also started to manufacture its own semiconductor chips going forward. Continued development will not only be a revenue source, but also lessen the cost of vertical integration. Diversification of business. Apple has used its brand to be able to break into several different markets. Due to this, it has gained different competitors and markets. Apple has since developed a credit card which is now competing with numerous competitors within the credit industry. Apple now competes directly with Netflix and Amazon Prime due to Apple TV and the production of content financed by Apple. Some weaknesses of Apple. Their premium pricing strategy. Apple products are sold at a higher price point than competitors for Some weaknesses of Apple. Their premium pricing strategy. Apple products are sold at a higher price point than competitors for similar products. This limits their consumer base to middle and high-income consumers. It also limits the rate in which middle-income consumers will upgrade their newest product offerings. Strong competition in new service areas. Apple is expanding into new service areas such as video streaming and payment services where they will need to compete with dominant players in these industries, such as Netflix, Disney, Citi, and PayPal. They will need to establish critical competencies and overcome fierce competition within these new areas to be successful. Compatibility of devices. Apple's proprietary iOS processing system is unique and is not easily compatible with all products. Its competitors like HP, Samsung, Dell, Lenovo, and others have been able to create similar products that compete with Apple in the electronic space. Apple iPhones account for nearly a quarter of smartphones used globally, which means that the remaining users are using Android technology. It is much harder to get someone to change from an Android to an iPhone than it is to get an Android user to switch brands of another Android. Apple is still the most recognized brand of smartphone in the world, but it does limit their market and capacity. According to Forbes, smart wearable technology is on track to become a $27 billion market. According to Forbes, smart wearable technology is on track to become a $27 billion market. Apple's two wearable offerings, the Apple Watch and AirPods, are largely successful, but they could expand these product offerings into this area of already established competency. Artificial intelligence. Apple has already started to build its AI portfolio with the recent acquisitions of Regained and DeskConnect, which will help users intelligently organize and sort through apps and photos on their Apple products. AI is expected to become an integral part of the future, and the company can expand further to establish a strong foothold. Autonomous cars. Demand for driverless vehicles is increasing not only for consumer cars, but also for construction and commercial applications where the environment is more controlled and the cost benefits are very clear. Apple is already focusing on the development of autonomous systems and software technology, but this opportunity will continue to grow as the technology becomes more refined. Apple recently partnered with Kia Motors to create self-driving cars and is set to begin production in 2024 with production estimates of 100,000 vehicles in year one. Threats. Waning consumer trust. Threats. Waning consumer trust. Through the years, Apple has been faced with criticism about their advertising practices. Threats. Waning consumer trust. Through the years, Apple has been faced with criticism about their advertising practices as well as their lack of parental controls. For example, allegations about Apple tracking consumers' locations for advertising purposes was recently verified as true. Although the latest update gives the user the right to decline tracking, trust can be difficult to regain. Parents also have taken issue with the lack of control software for their children, which may make them turn to other companies for their children's needs. Current investigations and litigation. Apple is currently under investigation for collusion with Google to make their search engine the default on Apple devices. This limits their ability to expand into the search engine market and puts other partnerships under intense scrutiny. There is another suit regarding Apple's updates to its software, alleging that it slows down the hardware. This is alleged to promote the buying of newer devices. Apple has since settled a lawsuit regarding the use of third-party data centers to store consumer data, also another trust issue. Global supply chain. The pandemic has affected manufacturing, distribution, and the capability of consumers to purchase Apple products. Inflation globally has caused products to become more expensive. Apple products rely on raw materials, and these raw materials will continue to be more expensive to source given these issues. The increase in oil is also an indicator that transportation costs could also increase. These costs will eventually be reflected in the pricing of Apple's products. Consumers coming out of the pandemic are weary to spend due to signs of a potential recession. Given Apple's products can all be classified as non-essential consumer goods, this could hurt Apple's ability to balance their inventory and pricing. Ukraine has also played a factor in the global supply chains and has continued to cause issues such as inflation.
After wrapping up the SWOT analysis, let's talk about the recommendations for Apple. So Apple needs a long-term solution to minimize cloud computing costs and should also invest in becoming a cloud service provider. Apple's biggest competitors are already taking advantage of cloud computing, so why not Apple? Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and others have invested and are pooling in revenues, but Apple is currently relying on AWS and Google's cloud service to run cloud-based services. CNBC disclosed that Apple pays nearly $30 million monthly to Amazon for AWS. Another recommendation we have is investing in cloud computing to reduce dependency on data warehouses. Apple currently owns 9 data center sites worldwide, nearly meeting Apple device users' demands for services such as iTunes, iCloud, and Apple Music. The cost to build and maintain the data centers can be minimized by cloud computing.